These are the stances on issues of Hillary Clinton, the 2016 Democratic presidential candidate. So one of Hillary's first important things for her campaign is substance abuse, and what she would like to do is expand programs which would prevent the use of drugs by teens. She would also like to help with rehabilitation for all addicts of all different kinds of drugs, including alcohol. She would like to also provide this rehabilitation for inmates who have low-level and nonviolent offenses. So if they have a violent offense or a higher level, then this program wouldn't necessarily be for them. But she would like to help those who actually could use help in the prison system, and for those who are not even in the prison system yet. She would also like all first responders to have naloxone, and what this does is help revive somebody who has had a drug overdose. For campaigns and voting, she would like to revise the system by overturning Citizens United and ending secret political spending. Now what that means is people who are given money for their campaign by their supporters have to report what they are spending that money on rather than keeping it a secret, which makes it more likely for people to give money to campaigners and makes them more trustworthy of the campaigner because they have to tell them what they're spending it on. She would like to restore the Voting Rights Act and to require candidates to focus on varieties of people. So candidates cannot just target a specific audience, they have to be broad enough to appeal to varieties of people, and they want to help varieties of people rather than just a specific audience who will vote for them. She would also help with online automatic voting registries. So that means that as soon as a person turns 18, then they are automatically registered to vote online. Or not automatically, but it's easier for them to register to vote. And she would like voting to start 20 days prior to the election. So people who on election day are very busy, they are still able to vote because there would be a 20-day window when you could vote. As for campus sexual assault, this is something Hillary feels very passionate about. She would like to provide support for the victims of campus sexual assault. She wants to make sure that there is a fair trial and that there are fair punishments for the perpetrators of all of these assaults. And she wants to increase the prevention campaigns to make it so that it's more aware and everybody is more aware of campus sexual assault and all the negative things that can come from that. Next is planet and animal protection, which is something that Hillary feels very, very passionately about, which is protecting our planet and our environment, as well as our animals. She would like to end illegal wildlife trafficking, which means sending live animals different places, similar to people trafficking, but just for animals. She would like to make that stop. She wants to reduce oil consumption and greenhouse gas emissions by 1/3, which is a very ambitious thing to say, because as Americans, we consume a lot of oil every year, as well as emit a lot of greenhouse gases due to our industrial economy. She would like to install 500 million solar panels, which would help power every household. So rather than using electricity, we would be using the sun and solar power, which would be very, very economically efficient, as well as environmentally efficient. She wants to keep the public land public, so wild campgrounds and national parks, she wants to make sure that those stay open to the public. She wants to increase agriculture and stop antibiotics in farming. And this is a very controversial topic because a lot of people are very, very against the use of genetically manufactured foods. She wants to increase agriculture but stop that use of genetic manufacturing using antibiotics. And she wants to enforce the Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act, which would make it a lot harder for companies to get away with poorly treating animals. Next, she wants to tackle criminal justice and racial profiling, which has been a very, very prevalent issue recently in the United States with events such as Ferguson. And what she would like to do is require a mandatory minimum sentencing, which makes it so that somebody who is a certain race or the judge is friends with or anything, they cannot be given a much lighter sentence. There has to be a mandatory minimal sentence for each crime committed, which prevents people from getting away with crimes when they shouldn't. She wants to end private prisons, which makes all prisons public and state-ran. She wants to help release convicts after they are absolved of their crimes and they've served their time. She wants to make it easier for them to rejoin in society and be a part of that society and potentially get jobs. She wants police people to use body cameras, which will prevent racial profiling because there will be video evidence of any racial profiling an officer has, because people will be able to see from that body camera anything that happens during an arrest. And then she also wants to spend $2 billion to prevent bad students from making illegal choices after school. Now, what a bad student is a student who gets in trouble a lot in school, and she wants to give $2 billion to help prevent these so-called bad students from going down a bad path after they graduate, to turn them into better members of society and to help release the bad stigma. Healthcare and disease combat. Rather than repeal Obamacare like her counterpart, Donald Trump, she would like to build on it. She would like to stop the rising prices of prescription drugs and to keep them very stable. So if somebody needs a medication for their diabetes or something, that price of that medication will not be constantly rising for the person to pay because they need that medication. She wants to keep it very stable. She wants to increase funds for HIV and Alzheimer's research to help secure a cure for those diseases, which are very prevalent. And then she wants to help make the curing for that come about, because right now they are both uncurable diseases. Next, what she's very interested in is education. She wants to invest in early Head Start, which means children start their education at a younger age. She wants to make it so that every 4-year-old has to attend a preschool before they begin kindergarten, which would also increase education and begin it at a younger age. She wants education to be available to everyone, everywhere in the United States, K through 12 if they want it, anywhere in the United States, even in the most rural areas. She wants to make it so that is available because she feels it's very important to have an educated nation. She wants to make it so college tuition is affordable for everyone. She wants to make it so that no student has to borrow any money to attend a 4-year state college. So she wants to make it so affordable that they would not have to borrow any money to attend it. And then also loan holders can refinance at current rates. Her next topic is LGBT and equality, and that equality is for anybody part of the LGBT community and for women. She wants a full federal LGBT equality and support, which means that at the national level, that is enforced and supported. She wants to make it so anybody with HIV cannot be discriminated against, which, if you did not know, HIV is a sexually transmitted disease, which is uncurable, and it can also be transmitted through blood. She wants to create equal pay for women, to end the wage gap between men getting paid more and women getting paid more. And she is also a major supporter for pro-choice and full reproductive rights. And what that means is legalized abortion for anybody who would potentially need to use that service. And she wants that those rights to be fully protected for everyone. As for immigration, her stance is very, very different from Donald Trump's. She wants comprehensive immigration, which means lighter immigration, keeping families together for immigration. She wants to end family detention, and detention is the holding of immigrants until they are returned back to their original country, illegal immigrants, that is. She wants deportation relief for dreamers, which are people who have come over. She wants to make it so that they cannot be deported. It makes it less likely of them to be deported. She wants to strengthen our alliances with other people and she also really wants to defeat ISIS. And her main thing is to keep families, even illegal immigrant families, together. And if they are illegal, she wants to make sure that they are either deported together or put in the United States together, because she doesn't believe in splitting up those families. Veterans and disabilities, she wants to make it easier for veterans to get care if they need it. She does not want to privatize the Veterans Administration or Association. She wants to make sure that children with disabilities are getting adequate help in school, so there's an increased amount of help for those who are disabled in schools, to make sure that they are still getting the help and education that they need. She wants to enforce the Americans with Disabilities Act, improve employment opportunities for the veterans who are disabled and veterans who aren't, and disabled people who are not veterans. She just wants to make it easier for former veterans and the disabled to be employed, and she wants to strengthen financial support to families who have people in their families who were veterans and who are disabled. As for gun violence, she would strongly like to strengthen background checks and close the loopholes in getting guns, which makes it impossible for people to get guns who should not be having them. If a dealer is irresponsible in selling guns illegally, she wants to charge them, no matter the case, to make sure that they are taken care of, to make sure that they cannot do that again, because that is a serious offense. And the main people she wants to keep guns from are terrorists, domestic abusers, violent criminals, and the severely mentally ill. She wants to make sure that none of these people are able to get their hands on guns to protect regular Americans. For Social Security, she would like to make child care affordable for any parents who might need it. She wants 12 weeks of paid family leave after the birth of the child. And what that means is not only for the mother would there be that paid leave, but for the father as well. Because currently, only the mother usually gets that time off after the birth of a child, but she wants to make it so that the father can as well. She wants a 2/3 rate replacement wage for workers, and she wants to expand the Social Security dollar amount for widows with children. So somebody whose husband has died but she still has children, she wants to make sure that they are still getting Social Security and enough funding to care now that they are a single mother. For infrastructure, she would like to boost federal investment to $275 billion. She wants to make a $25 billion infrastructure bank. She really wants to focus on fixing the public roads and public bridges to make sure that there is safe transit across the world, or across the country, I should say. She wants to expand internet access so anybody in rural areas can have access to that internet and be more connected with society. And she wants to encourage investments in manufacturing. As for the workforce, she would like on-the-job training programs expanded to make it a lot easier for people to get the training that they need while working. She wants tax credit businesses with apprenticeships that lead to jobs. She would like to raise the minimum wage and close corporate loopholes so larger corporations cannot get around paying their taxes or paying their workforce fairly. They have to do that, and also people who make minimum wage, they would be making more money. She would like to strengthen the unions, and she would like to support the smaller businesses rather than corporations, focus on helping the smaller businesses succeed, and provide tax relief to those smaller businesses so that they can continue to prosper and do well. For Wall Street, which is the final thing that she focuses on, she would like to crack down on trade violations between the stock market. She wants to hold all individuals and corporations responsible for breaking the law during transactions and taxes and things like that. And she wants to stop banks from investing in hedge funds. This is what 2016 Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton ran her campaign about and what she wanted to do.